Hello world and welcome back to my channel. My name is Mr.DissPlay and today I will give you a few tips that I think will be very helpful to you, especially if you just started playing Zenless Zone Zero. And even if you started playing Zenless Zone Zero once it came out, stay here. You'll probably get one or two new tips that will help you. And let's begin with the first tip. Start the game 5 minutes before you actually play it. I'm not joking. Since the game is still new, miHoYo keeps making hotfixes left and right. And because of that, almost every time I start the game, I have to spend 5 minutes or so just waiting for the game files to load and all that. So if you're like me and once you click on a game you want to play it immediately, I think you're going to have to start the game 5 minutes before you actually start playing the game. Tip number 2. Do your dailies. In this game, you only have to do 4 daily missions. And doing all 4 of them takes less than a minute. That's right, doing all 4 of them takes less than a minute a day, so make sure to do them. And this is what you have to do. First, log into the game. Congrats, you just completed one of your dailies, and now you have 3 to go. Start your day by opening the video store for business. All you have to do is talk to the Bangboo at the reception, and once you do that, you'll have a screen asking you to select which Bangboo you want to work as a cashier. At this point, you only have one Bangboo, so you have no option but to choose him. And also, you'll be asked to select 3 movies to promote for the day, and they will always recommend 3 genres of movies, and all you have to do is click on the movies one by one until one of the genres listed below lights up. Once this happens, this means that you've selected a movie that matches the required genres for the day. Click on add and keep doing that until all 3 genres light up, and click on save and your business is good to go. After that, go to the dog in the newspaper stand and click here to get your lottery ticket. After you scratch it, you'll receive one of 2 possible prizes. Either you'll get coins or you'll get primogems. 9 times out of 10 you'll get the coins, but from time to time you will get primogems. After that, make sure to drink your coffee. Every day you can get 1 cup of coffee, and drinking that coffee will give you an extra 60 charges. Charges are the reason of this game, so make sure to do that so you can get more experience. And man, getting more experience points might take a while in this game, and I'll explain more about that in a minute. But for now, let's talk about the dailies. And that's it. You just did all 4 tasks. You have to go here and collect your 60 primogems for the day. Third tip, don't waste your battery charges early on in the game. Sadly, the game does not have a secondary resin container once your main resin container is full, like Honkai Star Rail does, which I find to be weird. Like, I thought that this should be considered a basic feature in gacha games these days. But anyways, make sure to always use your resin, because you'll need every ounce of experience you can get in early game, since many things are restricted until you reach a certain level. In fact, I was stuck for a while because I had to go through a specific mission, but my character's level was lower than the recommended level, and because of that I wasn't able to move the story forward. And you're probably saying now that all I had to do was to simply increase my character's level. But I couldn't do that, because in order to do that, I have to increase my internaut level, also known as my adventure rank. So basically, I was stuck in a deadlock. I need stronger characters to increase my adventure level, and I need a higher adventure level in order to get stronger characters. So yeah, make sure to go to the HoYo club and spend all your charges there. And by the way, unlike Genshin and Honkai, the only way you can collect materials and items for your characters and weapons in this game is by talking to these people. I personally didn't know that at the time, because the game called these places simulations, which made me think that these people are like Herta from Honkai Star Rail, and if you talk to them, they'll send you to somewhere similar to Simulated Universe, where you can collect items, but none of them can be used to upgrade your characters. In Zenless Zone Zero, however, simulations is where you need to go to collect character upgrade materials. Fourth tip, now that you know where to upgrade your characters, you're probably asking yourselves which characters you should upgrade first. Currently, I'm on level 36, and I can tell you, most missions will recommend you to use characters with ice and ether attributes, which means that you first need to level up these characters that have these attributes. For ice attributes, there are many characters, such as Ellen, the current character in the limited banner, and there's also Leikon and Sukaku. You'll get Sukaku for free once you get to chapter 2 in the game. And when it comes to the ether attributes, so far there's only one character in the entire game that has this attribute, and that is Nicole. And if you really don't like her, then maybe you can wait for the next banner, which is going to feature Ju Yuan, and she's coming out within exactly a week from now. So save your wishes until she comes out if you want to get her. Tip number 5. Start fighting weekly bosses from now. Even if none of your characters made it to a stage where you have to fight bosses in order to upgrade their skills further. And I say this for 2 reasons. First, you only can fight 3 bosses a week, so you better not waste your time and start farming bosses already. And the second reason is fighting bosses in this game is free. Yes, you don't have to worry about wasting your resin or charges, so you better start farming right now. And don't worry, if you don't know how to get to the bosses, I'll show you how you can get to them in the next tip. Tip number 6. This is where you need to go to collect materials for your characters and weapons. There are 2 different places you need to go to gather the materials. As I mentioned earlier, the HoYo club. In the club, you can find materials to upgrade your character skills and weapons. And the second place is Scott Outpost. Over here, you can fight the weekly bosses, and you can also collect these discs. The discs in this game are basically the same thing as artifacts from Genshin and relics from Star Rail. And if you want to fight the weekly bosses, you have to talk to Ophelia over here. And if you want to collect discs, also known as artifacts, you should talk to Roland over here. Tip number 6. Don't forget about the Agent Archive. When I started the game, I was introduced to this thing called Agent Archive, and then I completely forgot about it. Agent Archive is a place where you get introduced to new characters and even play as them. It's usually divided into 3 sections, and you have to go through them one by one. Although sometimes not all chapters will be available at once. And of course, once you finish a chapter, you will be rewarded with primogems and experience. And this is where you can access the Agent Archive. Tip number 6. Did you know that you can get special training on each character? If you want to know how exactly a certain character plays out without having to watch YouTube, you can go to the VR training session available over here. Here, you'll get training on each character you have. And by training, I don't mean that the game will put you in an empty space with a bunch of enemies and leave you to figure out things on your own. The game will give you specific prompts telling you how the character actually works and what you need to do exactly in order to get the most out of each character. At this point, I'm not really following how many tips I gave this far. But let's just go to the next tip. And the next tip is talk to everyone to get missions. In Zenless Zone Zero, not all missions come to you. Sometimes you have to go and look for them. And you can look for missions by walking around and talking to those who are interested in talking to you. You can tell who wants to talk to you by the arrows that appear on top of the characters. If a character is not interested in talking to you, their name won't be in between 2 arrows. Next tip is how to collect your primogems. Every time you get on a mission in Zenless Zone Zero, you'll see these 3 balls shown on the side. These balls are actually called observation sites or observation data. And this is the most important thing in the entire game. You see, once you get into the TVs, you'll come across different TVs and different icons. And in order to collect the observation data, you need to find TVs that have this icon. Each level in this game has 3 of them. And each time you go to a TV with this icon, you'll collect observation data. And also you'll get 20 primogems. And this is why I said the observation data is the most important thing in the game. And each level has 3 of them, which means that each level will give you 60 primogems. Also, if you finished a level before and you're still missing one of these observation data, don't worry. You can repeat the level, and all you have to do is find the TV with the observation data that you missed, and you you can easily exit the level immediately. You don't need to play the whole level from start to finish in order for you to save the observation data. And the last tip is, and this is not really a huge deal, but when I started the game, I was overwhelmed with many tutorials. And because of that, I missed some of the important parts. So I had to look for the tutorial, and I spent a lot of time navigating the user prompt to no avail. And it turned out that the tutorials are located at the workbench, which is located right over here. Now you don't have to spend 15 minutes looking for the tutorial. And that was the last tip. So let me know, did these tips help you? Did they give you new information? And what are other important tips that I didn't mention in this video? If you have some, write them down in the comments so that people can learn from you. And thank you for watching this far, and don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. See you in the next one.